Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Shocking and almost deadly evidence that your words and your thoughts can literally turn into reality. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, like diamonds, Salt Strong Unchurched. We're back again. This is a wild story, and I've talked about this kind of idea that your thoughts and your prayers and your dreams and what you're talking about to both yourself and to your loved ones can literally come to fruition and can literally turn into reality. And that means you can use it for good and for bad, right? You can use it to say things that you want to happen in a great way. And you can also talk, down to yourself and say, oh gosh, I always get in trouble or bad things always happen to me. And all of a sudden things start happening to you in a negative way or a positive way. It's crazy, the power of this prayer and really just the power of what we say to ourselves. So here is what happened. Absolutely true story. We have a yard guy or yard team that does a lot of work. And one of the guys was here last, meaning the rest of the crew had already gone, and he had one big piece of equipment left, and it broke down. And he came up, and there's a big storm coming, as it happens often in Florida afternoons. And he came and knocked on the door, and he's like, "Mr. Simons, man, my machine just broke down. I can't get it up on this trailer because the trailer's at quite an angle." And he's like, "Can you help me, push it up?" And so I was like, "Sure." And I saw the storm come. I was like, "All right, let's move." It was nasty. And so I'm sitting there and I'm helping him push it back up and get it. And we're just kind of chatting real quick. And I said, "Man, how's everything going?" And he's like, "Oh man," he goes, "It was going great." He goes, I bought this new truck, and he goes, "I've been saving for 3 years to get this new truck." And so like this was his big thing that he'd been saving for years. He's like, "Mr. Simons, I'm the hardest working ever. I'm always on time. I'm always doing my stuff. And I wanted this truck so bad." And so I finally was able enough to get the truck. And he goes, "My goal was to pay it off in a year." And so he's working hard. He's saving money, doing all the right stuff, right? And even had a great goal, right? All this stuff is great so far, right? And so pays off this truck. And he says, and so I got this, basically a year-old truck that's now paid off, which is a great accomplishment for anybody, to pay something off early like that. And he goes, I said to my wife, because man, Mr. Simons, I'm always just bringing bad luck onto myself. And so I said to my wife, "Oh, you know what? With my luck, I'll probably get in an accident, and this whole 3 to 4 years of me saving is just all going to go to waste." And I'm looking at him like, "Why the heck did you say that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I said it again, and he's like, "You won't believe what happened." So he said to his wife 2 different times, like, instead of being positive and being grateful and gracious that all these amazing things that have happened to him, he now poo-poos on himself and says, "Honey, oh man, with my bad luck, this whole thing will just go away like it never happened," is how he alluded to how he said it. And guess what happened? Within 24 hours of him saying that to his wife the second time, within 24 hours, he gets sideswiped and then rear-ended by another car and literally totals his truck. He's lucky to be alive, has some back problems because of it. But the main person who hit him and caused this full accident, once again, hit him on the side and then pushed him into another car that came up and hit him from the other end and literally completely demolished, totaled his, now brand new or 1-year-old paid off truck. Here's the worst part. Obviously that sucks as it is. But the worst part is the driver that hit him had no insurance. So he's got nothing he can possibly do. Obviously, he's talked to lawyers. He's even gone to Morgan & Morgan, and they're like, even if we're able to get anything, any attorney would tell this person just easier to declare bankruptcy. There's usually a reason they don't have insurance is because they don't have any money. And he's like, "Man, I'm back to square one." It was like the whole thing never happened. And I'm sitting here just like, oh man, I feel horrible for him. But I'm like, dude, did you learn a lesson? He's like, oh yeah, no more, negative self-talk to myself or to my spouse or anybody. And it's crazy. I talked about, a friend that I had in the old business that I worked for, and she was the nicest girl in the world, and yet the worst things happened to her. I'm talking like the almost unexplainable, and she was constantly, I'm talking about anytime something good would happen, she would self-sabotage it by saying, oh, well, with my bad luck, fill in the blanks. And it would literally happen. It was just like she was just bringing this cloud of horrible things over her by her self-talk. So I just want to share that with you because it hit me so hard. I was like, oh man, and I felt horrible for this guy. There's not much you can do except learn from it. And obviously, start building yourself up with positive thoughts and realizing that your self-talk, no matter what you're saying, can honestly and truly happen. I've got just countless stories where this has happened in my life, both good and bad. And I've realized I'm only going to say good stuff. And even with my kids, they're in that age of trying to figure out what they can do and what their bodies can do, what their minds can do. And it's tough, right? Your first instinct is, oh, I can't do this. It's too tough. I'm like, no. We get that word out of our heads. This whole I can't, it's I can do this. Might not be able to do it today, right? Might not be able to lift this much weight or push this or do this or draw this or whatever it is, but I'm going to figure it out. I can do this. I believe that God will bless me with this. And it's the power of prayer, right? The biggest miracles happen that were sight unseen, right? Things that you couldn't really believe that could happen unless you did believe that it could happen from God, from absolute faith that God can do anything. So I just want to share this. It's going to be a quick episode here. I had to share it after talking with that guy. Like I said, I couldn't stop thinking about that whole evening. After he told me that, I was like, man, that is just absolutely wild. Says this 2 different times, and it literally happens to him. And he's like, Joey, he's like, Mr. Simons, he goes, it was unexplainable. He goes, I didn't see any of it coming. He's like, the whole thing came out of the blue. It was 24 hours after I told my wife, oh yeah, with my luck, it's all going to go away. And it literally did. Truck's totaled. He's now got to start over, saving again. Got nothing out of this deal and has, some hospital bills to pay. So now not only did it all disappear, he went negative. Oh, stop the negative self-talk. Talk positive for your kids and your grandkids. Talk positive. Start saying, I can, and dream big and start saying, God, as I talked about in the last episode, how you pray, God, thank you for already blessing me with this. Thank you, God, for showing me your favor, for giving me so many good breaks. Thank you, God, for bringing all the right people into my life. Even if you can't see it and feel it yet, you have to believe it will happen. Guys, hope this was helpful. If you have any good stories, love to hear from you. Post it in the comments there at saltstrong.com/unchurched. That's saltstrong.com/unchurched. Or shoot me an email, joe@saltstrong.com. Otherwise, I'll talk to you on the next episode.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul. It was passed down to me from the days ago. You'll find us on the water if there was a way. It's been said my papa, he wrote the book on catching big reds and 20-pound snook. I wish I knew all the things he knew today. For he's the reason why we are this way. And he put fishing